Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Stephen Dagliacco.
And
Aunt G, yo.
Anthony Galati.
Is that going to be your thing?
I don't know why Brian felt the need to correct me.
Well, you want people to know.
He gets an intro, you get an intro, I want an intro. I'm Aunt G, yo.
Okay. Angie decided to embody a rapper from the 90s.
Chair.
He's like, do you guys remember that those local rappers that would come to your school and rap about like good hygiene and squeaky clean?
They weren't rappers. They were like a 1950s rock band that played Beatles covers.
I thought there was one that did like rap.
That was Squeaky Clean. I don't know about what you saw.
Oh. Honestly, maybe in my head I just turned them into rappers who rap about
No,
like
they were
issues
middle-aged
like
people that loved the Beatles and played them in like 1995. And they would go to every public school.
Weren't the songs like about soap?
No.
Well,
Really?
Well, they had like, you know, self-help songs, but they were mainly a Beatles cover band
Okay. See, I
for
thought
kids.
that I don't remember. I remember the songs were like "Wash Your Feet," you know, like things like that.
It was Lieutenant Dan. Take care of your socks.
Lieutenant Dan can't wash his feet.
Yeah, but that was the gimmick in the movie.
What?
Before he loses his legs, he's all about foot care.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that. I have a different reading of the movie.
What is your reading of the movie, Brian?
Well, I'm not going to do the whole bit. You could see it in my movie.
Oh, is that just what we do now? We promote the movie?
I wasn't going to. We just ended up talking about Forrest Gump. I'm in my movie, I have a whole bit about Forrest Gump, which actually, did you know that the new Saw movie, Chris Rock,
What's your movie called?
it's called The Uninvited Guest.
Where can they find that?
Amazon Prime.
Ah.
Yeah, but there's a bit in there about Forrest Gump. And in the new Saw movie, Chris Rock has almost word for word the identical dialogue.
No way.
I swear to God. I didn't
stole your thing?
I didn't tell you this?
No.
Yeah, so either one of two things happens.
All right, first, tell the people what we're talking about.
All right. So
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
in the movie, I have a character. Now, me and Anthony have had this debate in real life, and I put it into the movie where basically I state that the point of Forrest Gump is about how easy it is to manipulate and exploit the handicapped. And that the point of the movie is that this mentally challenged man gets abused again and again and again and exploited by Jenny to the point of raising a child that is not his. Because Forrest is the type of person that would not take a DNA test and would just assume a kid is his and raise it because Jenny said so. Now, Jenny...
He's also a millionaire.
Yeah.
You've been sitting next to a millionaire.
Exactly. Jenny knew that Forrest was rich enough and dumb enough to take care of the kid. She's one of the biggest villains in movie history. She just dumps a kid on him.
And Brian and I had this debate. I took the side that it is his kid on the line outside of a concert one day, and people were laughing at us as we had this fight.
Yeah.
And I guess you wrote it into the film.
I wrote it into the film. So I went to see the new Saw movie, and I was sitting there, and Chris Rock has almost verbatim the same fucking dialogue. Now, either there's a couple of things that happened. Forrest Gump, Chris Rock either one night was on Amazon Prime and was like, what the hell is this shit? And he decided to watch one of the worst movies ever, my movie. Or I came up with the same bit.
Some parallel thinking.
The same bit as one of the greatest comedic minds maybe ever, definitely currently, right? As far as straight comedy.
In some people's opinion.
You don't find Chris Rock funny?
I was never a big Chris Rock fan.
I like Chris
You
Rock.
can't deny that he's one of the
He's one of the most
the great
successful
names,
comedians
yeah,
ever.
so-
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
So I personally think that he watched The Uninvited Guest and ripped me off. I think that's most
Has to be.
likely.
That's the safest bet.
Yeah.
Occam's razor.
Yeah, he watched my movie and ripped me off.
Yeah.
The answer that has the least amount of assumptions tends to be the correct
And
one.
I give my vow to everyone listening to this. One day I will make Chris Rock pay for his crime of stealing my joke. If I ever get successful enough, I'm calling him out. He'll wish that it was Will Smith he was dealing with.
Keep my jokes out of your mouth.
So we actually, I want to address something we missed in an earlier episode.
What?
do?
I feel like we let our listeners down.
What are you talking about?
We did not address my doodle
Oh.
for Charge of the Light Brigade. So I think we need to.
Doodle.
Yeah. Would you like to describe it?
Okay, this looks like two penises. We have two penises coming. They have it's two penises with ball sacks coming on a man wearing a splendid feathered hat. Is that correct?
He nailed it.
Yeah, Steven,
All right.
do you concur?
I can. Yeah, I concur. Oh my god. All right. Actually, this might be one of his clearer drawings. Those are cannons.
Yeah.
It seems.
There's a
And
cannon to the left.
There's a
of
guy
him,
in a silly hat. That's
and there's a
about
cannon
it.
to the right of him.
Yeah.
Nice, honest answer from Steven.
That was the honest answer. Realistically, if you didn't know what we were talking about, that's one dick is shooting at the guy, and there's another dick in front of him that's shooting in the opposite direction. It's
If you want to see this, just go to our Instagram. It'll be there.
you really have an artistic talent unparalleled. It is.
Reviewing history on Instagram.
Anyway, what are we discussing today?
Today we are watching The Elephant Man. Steve wanted to cheer everybody up, and he decided that The Elephant Man was the way to go.
No, you know what? Go ahead. I'll comment after you've commented.
So, have you guys seen this before?
No,
Ant?
Nope. I've heard of it. And
you heard of this?
Oh, I've heard of the movie.
I've
It's a
heard of the
famous
movie.
You both heard of this?
I knew what it was about.
I knew what it was about because it's been parodied so many times. I think I was aware of this movie like from the time I was a child because
It's parodied in Batman Returns.
parodied in the Rugrats.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
parodied in
Chucky
the,
has rhinoceros. Oh. And he says, "I am not an animal. I am a human being."
Oh wow.
In Batman Returns, the Penguin goes, "I am not a human being. I am an animal."
In the claymation video game on Nintendo 64 called Clay Fighter.
Oh, I love
Remember that
Clay
game?
Fighter.
One of the character goes, "I'm a human being," and I never knew what it was from, and now I do. I did not know about this film going into it at all. Even when I picked it,
I never saw it. It's been
I
parodied
didn't even
tons
know.
of times.
I didn't even know what it was about.
Then why'd you pick it?
So
I thought. By the way, I didn't know it was a true story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
This was new to me.
Okay, I knew it was a true story.
so we needed to pick movies, and I realized that last time I picked Mutiny on the Bounty, it was a random
was a
pick.
shot in the dark.
It was a shot in the dark. All I did was Google history movie based on true story, and Mutiny popped up. This time, I want to do a character movie. Brian did 42.
Yeah.
I want to do one. So I Googled history movie about a person. So, the Elephant Man was like the screenshot on Google. And I was like, I'm going to pick that. I legit assumed it was about like an elephant trainer. I didn't know what it was about.
He's the Elephant Man. He
The
raises
Elephant Man.
elephants.
Yeah, I was
Did
like,
you know it
oh,
was
this will
Lynch?
be. No, I knew nothing. I
He
just
didn't
picked
know
it.
it was directed by me.
And I want
It's pretty good, isn't it?
to apologize
Apologize.
because that was the saddest movie I think I've ever watched.
I actually found it uplifting. I'm not even joking.
Same. Steven and I watched it together, and he had a completely
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had a different experience than I did watching this movie.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of triumphant almost.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very uplifting spiritual movie. I don't think that it's definitely sad at times and it's bleak, but I thought that the movie actually is optimistic at the end and it shows the beauty of life.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that after and like what you could find beauty in. And I really did like it.
Would you say now? This is it's David Lynch. It's not a run of the mill standard. type
It's
of
by
story.
me.
He's a weirdo, and he likes weirdo things, and we love him for that. At least I do.
Yeah, how do we
of
feel
course.
about Lynch at this table?
I love Lynch. I think he's great.
How much Lynch have you actually watched?
All of Twin Peaks, both series.
And the movie?
Fire Walk with Me. I've seen Dune. I've seen half of Mulholland Drive, and then I fell asleep. But it was great while I was watching it. And I think there's more. Now I've seen The Elephant Man. That may be it for me. But I was a massive Twin Peaks.
That's
fan.
still a lot of Lynch.
I love Peaks. It's fantastic. Both series. The Return.
I'm casually into Lynch. I didn't watch Twin Peaks. I watched Mulholland Drive. I really liked it. I watched Lost Highway. I still haven't seen Blue Velvet. It's been on my DVR forever. I just haven't taken the plunge because I think it's like 3 hours, and I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to really do that. So I saw Dune, and I think those are the only Lynch movies I had seen up until this. I might be missing one, but definitely those.
Oh, did you see the little mini film he did?
Sick Men Getting Sick?
I've seen that. 6 Men Getting Sick. I saw that on TV on the Art Channel when I was like 10 years old and was like, what the fuck is this?
Do you remember Netflix at one point early on in their streaming life? They had like 6 or 7 David Lynch shorts, and we watched them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's one that came out about a year ago, maybe like 2 years ago, where he's yelling at a monkey. It's called like What Happened to Alex or something. And it's him fighting with a monkey and a chicken. It's fantastic.
He also does music.
Yes, and his music's good.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's very weird. The only problem is I think he sings on some of it, and he has like one of the worst voices
His
ever.
voice is great. He wrote like...
You like my voice,
yes,
Anthony.
It's hysterical. You know, the music in Twin Peaks, like the Pine Tree song, and I'll see you. That's all him. He wrote it.
It is very
He's a
unique.
genius.
It's very unique. And for my experience, I'm not too far from it. I've watched Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me.
You hated The Return, though.
I did not like The Return. I don't like all his stuff, you know, but from what I have experience in, most of it is pretty great. Brian, would you actually consider watching like Twin Peaks after seeing a movie like this?
I'm just, honestly, series just don't appeal to me that much. I'm not opposed to it. It's really just
love it.
It's not. I would watch the movie. I actually want to watch Fire Walk with Me. I just don't have an interest really in the TV show, which I know is so fucking weird.
It's not weird. It's just, you know, it's a pain in the ass to watch 20 episodes or whatever it is.
Exactly.
That's more than that.
Like I'm a movie guy. I'd rather just watch one movie and get, what I need.
But the movie, while you probably can watch it on its own and take it for the merit that it has alone, obviously it's going to be more impactful and better with your knowledge of the show.
It's like if you've never seen Star Trek and your first Star Trek movie is Wrath of Khan, you'll be like, oh, that's a good movie. But you're not going to feel sad when Spock dies because you didn't spend 60 episodes watching the guy.
Yeah,
Of course.
Like you could watch the new Deadwood movie without watching the show, but you're not going to get the same thing out of it like that me and Ant got.
Yeah. Oh, poor Al.
So I do want to say something about Lynch.
Sure.
I like him and I respect him, but sometimes I think he gets a little bit too up his own ass
Pretentious?
with his like weird shit rather than telling the story. I know, and I know that's his trademark, but you understand what I'm saying, where you're like, sometimes it's like, you're just doing this just to do it,
It's
know?
funny. There's an episode of Twin Peaks: The Return. It's the 8th episode, and it is visually one of the most stunning things I've ever seen.
That's the one where it's just like a nuclear bomb going off.
I'm nodding, by the way. I'm saying it's not.
For like an hour, there's barely any dialogue. It's massive explosion and what it looks like, and like just weird imagery. And
I've heard people say it's the greatest episode of TV ever.
Agreed. I love it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant and one of the greatest things ever filmed. Beaver, on the other hand, watched the same exact thing and hates it with such a passion that he's like gotten crazy about it.
It actually ruined the entire series experience for me.
Different strokes for different folks.
Legit, it was one of those things that it's what Brian said. He did something just to do it. You can't tell me anything about that episode that changed something in the series for you.
It's pivotal. You have the gas station men and the woodsmen. This is the water and this is the well.
That didn't change anything.
Yes, they kill the evil Cooper in that episode. We're spoiling now.
No, I'm talking the graphics. I'm talking about the graphics. I'm not talking
I've
about...
never seen anything that looks like it.
I know that. But what did the hour and like let's say
How did it advance the plot?
how did those graphics advance the plot? They didn't at all. For like 45 minutes of that episode was nothing.
Dude, you just got to go with it. Stop trying to analyze everything.
And that's why I don't like that episode. Because it's like, just go with it. I don't want to. I want to know what's the reason I'm watching this. Oh, there's no reason. Okay.
And that's my main critique of Lynch, but it's also something I respect about him, where it's like he'll put in weird shit and it's up for the audience to interpret it, which is, what an artist does. Like if you paint something and, it's a bunch of colors and shapes or whatever, it's up to the viewer to interpret it. He does that in film. Now, sometimes I think it's a little, senseless and needless. Do you guys remember when I wrote that mockumentary that I was going to star the three of us?
Yes.
And we filmed like one day of it before like it just wasn't.
There's me in
gonna
the
happen.
chair pontificating.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was several fake movies within this movie.
Yeah.
And one of them was straight Lynch shit where it was just weird nonsense. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel like
You're making fun of David Lynch.
basically to do Lynch shit, you kind of just need weird shit to happen. It's like very easy to do, but he does it in a
We
way.
made a video called Gummo 2, which is essentially the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just weird shit.
Do you know
Just
what?
for the sake of being weird.
Do you know what he does? You know when you like play music on Windows and you have that graphic of Windows Player and it's just like these weird graphics that are happening that match the music? That's what he puts into his films, and that's what that episode was. It was exactly
It's a
that.
very mean-spirited analysis of it, but you are not far off. Admittedly.
So I looked into the movie a bit, and it is respected.
The Elephant Man.
And yeah, the Elephant Man, and it's respected and loved by a lot of people we are fans of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So some people that we like that really love this movie or cite it as, one of their favorites. Musician Steven Wilson.
That figures.
He says it is his favorite film of all time. Steven Wilson, of course, is
Of
the
Porcupine Tree and his solo career in
and
Blackfield.
producing everything.
Yeah, he's a very important man in the progressive rock scene.
And
Yeah.
we're Prague guys.
We love it.
We love Steven Wilson. This is his favorite movie. Carl Pinkerton, whatever his name is.
Pilkington?
Yeah, that guy.
The Ricky Gervais dude?
Yep. That's his favorite movie.
He's like known as like a dumb guy, isn't he? Like that's his character. Anyway.
Yeah, he just plays one.
He's funny.
So that's his favorite movie.
I like the Elephant Man.
Bradley Cooper said this movie is what made him want to be an actor, and he played him.
He played the Elephant Man?
He played him on Broadway.
Ah.
Wow.
And here's the thing: Bradley Cooper didn't wear makeup. Do you think Bradley Cooper looks enough like the Elephant Man to play him without makeup?
Wait, that's not a joke?
No.
I thought you were joking.
Yeah, me too. I thought he was being stupid
No, that's
sarcastic.
serious.
Wow.
I thought you were calling him ugly. Isn't he a handsome man?
He's quite handsome.
Bradley Cooper might be like top 5 hottest guys in the world at this point.
Wow.
Steve
is he
has his
doing?
list.
I have my
Yeah,
list.
who's your top 5 hottest guys?
I mean, you got Johnny Depp, you got Ewan McGregor, you got this dude, Bradley Cooper. I can't go after that. I don't have anyone after that.
Stud
So
muffins.
I just know,
That's what we should
it's
do.
Ewan
Make that a
McGregor.
segment. Steve's Stud Muffins.
Stud muffins. I always give a
Steven Studs.
top 5 list of the hottest guys, but I can't go past 3 because I don't know anyone else.
So this is a picture of Bradley Cooper in The Elephant Man
So
on
it's just
Broadway.
a handsome man
Just
with no
him.
shirt on?
Yeah.
Why
that
would...
makes sense?
I hate fucking plays and Broadway. It's garbage.
No. It's not garbage. It's got good stuff in it.
So this movie is based on a play, right?
Is it?
It was a
Yeah.
play first, yeah, and it won. I think it won like Tonys and shit. And then the production of it is interesting. So David Lynch was coming off Eraserhead.
Was a massive success.
Yeah, have you seen Eraserhead?
No.
Me either. I want to watch it because I'm sure his first film is definitely
Based on a true story?
interesting. I don't know anything about it.
I've heard it described...
There's a guy with Kramer hair on the cover.
Yes. I've heard it described as like 2 hours of the second episode of Twin Peaks: The Return, which was just, again, weird,
Nonsense,
bizarre
yes.
imagery that makes very little sense. I watched that twice, The Return, and the first time, I'll just say this: the main character in Twin Peaks is a guy named Agent Cooper, and Agent Cooper at the end of Twin Peaks gets trapped in an evil dimension, and we pick up with him, 30 years later or whatever it is, in The Return. And the whole show, it's like 20 episodes. You're just waiting for him to snap out of this trance and come back. And you're just on with bated breath every time the show comes on. Is this going to be it? Is this it? Are we waiting for it? We're waiting for it. And once It finally happens, but it takes forever for it to happen. And then the second time I watched it, I wasn't waiting for that anymore, and I got so much more out of the show. Like that's gone, that anticipation, you can analyze it and enjoy it, because you don't enjoy it. You're just fucking losing your mind waiting for Agent Cooper to come back. And I think if Beaver watched it again, he'd be like, "Oh, here's the genius." You know?
Oh, you mean Mr. Jackpots?
Mr. Jackpots is amazing.
Hello.
I have no idea what that is.
So Agent Cooper yells that he sees a little floating thing above slot machines. He goes up to it and just goes, "Hello," and he hits for jackpot every time.
Oh,
he just
well,
goes around
awesome.
the casino and does this, and it's so dumb.
I feel like you have a
So
Mr.
dumb.
Jackpot because you always win at casinos.
I do have a good streak. And not always, but I have a good streak.
You're the only person to win money at my bachelor party. We went to Vegas.
This is true.
Every single person got their asses kicked but
Yeah,
Beaver.
I lost like $600 on that show.
I made it. I made 600. I left up.
He went down, just like put money in a slot, won like $1,000. Was like, "Oh, I'm good."
I went back upstairs. Yeah. So I want to give a little watching David Lynch stuff like Twin Peaks and stuff like that. You can tell The Elephant Man is Lynch.
Yeah.
It has Lynch aspects.
But it seems
the
so much
story
more
is
subdued than other
so-
stuff he's done.
Yeah. But the story is so concrete that it doesn't even feel like it's him.
Well, I want to talk about that. So, how this film came about? He's coming off Eraserhead, and he was working on another movie, I think called Red Rocket.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I don't know if that movie ever got made. It was about a little boy in Colorado who jerks off dogs, and he goes, "Red Rocket, Red Rocket."
Sparky.
Sparky, yeah. Sit, stay,
Don't
don't
be
be
gay.
gay.
And don't be gay, Sparky. Don't be gay. And the dog turns his head like, "What do you mean?"
That episode is from like 25
Yeah.
years ago.
It's almost a 30-year-old show.
We were children watching that and quoted today.
So, anyway, the movie, this guy had optioned the script for The Elephant Man, and he brought it to Lynch, who had shown him Red Rocket, and was like, "Hey, would you do this?" So this guy had a connection to Mel Brooks.
That's
And-
why Anne Bancroft is in there.
Exactly. Anne Bancroft is Mel Brooks' wife. Mel Brooks produced the movie.
Did he really?
Yup, he is the producer of this movie. However,
That's so weird.
he demanded that his name is not on the movie, because if his name is on the movie, like imagine you're looking at the Elephant Man poster.
Everyone would think it's a comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Elephant Man, a Mel Brooks film. You're assuming it's a comedy.
Right.
So he purposely did not put his name on it, and he silently produced it. He really only asked for a couple of cuts. He was very hands off, but he, let this film happen, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah. You know what David Lynch said to people? "Piss on you. I'm working for Mel Brooks." "Piss on you. I'm working for Mel Brooks."
So I guess we can get into this because I want to drop my AKA.
Okay.
So the Elephant Man, AKA, "Oh, you thought you had no feelings? Hold my beer."
Like I said, you were all sad about this. I didn't get that.
I can't imagine somebody watching this and at some point not feeling empathetic.
Empathy, sure, but
Well, that coincides
but
with
it is
sadness.
in the end of the day, it's a triumphant, hopeful story about the human experience.
I mean,
Yes.
we can debate about that. I think part of it, yeah, sure, but not the story in itself.
All right, well, I guess let's get into it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
John Merrick.
whose real name is not John Merrick,
it's Joseph.
Joseph Merrick.
Not too far off though. So
Yeah, it's an inaccuracy because he had a younger brother named John, and it just got mixed up. But his name is John Merrick. And at the start of the movie, well, actually, the movie opens with a black and white Paramount logo, which I love. They use like an older one. Then
The movie feels like it's from the 50s, right?
yeah, they're
And
going
it's not
for
just
that.
the black and white. It's just
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The cinematography is fucking great.
it's insanely good.
And I got to give it up to the cinematographer, Freddie Francis, who he fucking is incredible on this. The black and whites in this, they just kick ass.
Let's give a little background, I guess. I looked up some stuff about the Elephant Man,
Okay.
the real guy. He was born in 1862 in Leicester, England. And he was a completely healthy child, believe it or not. His illness did not become severe until he was 5.
Yep.
His mother died of pneumonia when he was 11. And obviously she plays a pivotal role in this film, even though she's not actually in it. She was like his only friend because these growths started to happen on him. And I guess people today say it is a disease called Proteus Syndrome. Have you heard of this?
I've never
Also
heard of.
known as elephantitis, named after him.
Okay. I've heard of elephantitis. I did not know the other name.
It was like kind of discovered, sort of, or diagnosed officially in 1979, and since then there have only been 200 cases of it worldwide.
Ever?
Wow. So it's believed this is what he had. And
well, he's a medical anomaly. Right. You know, part of the thing is they're trying to study him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His head just grew to be massive with when he was first examined by that guy Trevis, who's played by Anthony Hopkins. His name is Fred Trevis.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, you son of a bitch.
Excuse me.
Don't you?
His head was 36 inches, which is a massive head.
3 feet.
And as far as I could tell, this movie is incredibly accurate in its depictions of stuff.
Very much so.
However, the one difference is
there's a couple
of differences.
Well, a big one is that he actually sought out like
the freak show
and wanted to work on a freak show himself.
He had a couple of jobs before that, like as a young man.
Cigar roller.
Yes. Okay. We all saw the same thing.
Yeah. We all have Wikipedia. We all did our homework.
He tried to be a cigar roller, and his right hand, excuse me, became so enlarged and unusable that he couldn't roll the cigars anymore, so that career was over.
Well, he actually rolled them loosely one time for Kramer, and it was just a bunch of mishaps. He packed them too tight, actually.
Well, they thought he was a real Cuban, and it turns out he wasn't.
Yeah,
he was Ecuadorian.
He's Ecuadorian, yeah.
And then he became a traveling salesman, like a door-to-door salesman.
Imagine you open your door and this guy...
It's horrific.
Yeah.
So I assume both of you actually saw the real pictures of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly think the real pictures are worse than what they
the
put
makeup
on film.
is almost exact.
It's perfect. The makeup is awesome.
It is really good.
So this movie actually changed the industry because there was outcry after this that there was no award for best makeup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was no makeup award, and everyone was like, what the fuck? This movie clearly should win.
So like Planet of the Apes never won anything?
Exactly. So the next year, they finally institute an award for best makeup.
So best makeup wasn't until 1981?
Yep, and do you know the first movie to win?
Empire Strikes Back.
No.
In
Wouldn't that have
81?
been 1980?
I don't know. Return of the Jedi.
No.
No, I don't know.
American Werewolf in London.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, the scene where he transforms is pretty impressive.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It still looks great.
Yeah.
So that won the makeup award, the first one.
It's a nice little tidbit of information there.
So the movie itself, is there anything else we want to say about the actual Elephant Man?
We could go through it as we
He sought
progress.
out the freak show as like a last resort. Like there's nothing else.
What else can this guy do?
And it became fairly successful. Like they would travel around from town to town. I know he was popular in like the Midlands, like Birmingham, Leicester, and then finally they get to
Stoke.
London, and he met some guy who I guess is the character portrayed as like the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah. Top Hat.
Yeah, that guy is a completely like fictional dude. Because he's like a villainous man, and that guy just didn't exist in the real story.
Yeah, well, they make it look like he's completely exploited in the play and the movie. You know, it's like this is a man who's here against his will, almost being subjected to these horrors. Meanwhile, he's
But
like,
really, it's a living.
I gotta make it's a living.
Right.
You know, he's like a geek.
But they make a permanent exhibit, essentially, of the Elephant Man, and it's right across the street from the London hospital. And that's kind of where the movie starts.
Yeah,
Anthony Hopkins
goes down
to
and
see the Elephant Man.
and it gets shut down by the cops.
Yeah, what's that about?
That actually happened.
So basically, they started shutting down the freak shows.
The attitudes were changing in Victorian England at the time, and it's like the freak shows were becoming less.
They became immoral and wrong.
Obscene.
So they started just shutting them down.
So I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about freak shows? Like in carnivals, like I know Coney Island still is a freak show to this day. How do you personally feel about them?
It seems like an archaic form of entertainment.
Have you ever been to one?
No, I have not.
I would not go.
I've been to one.
Really?
The one in Coney
Just
Island?
one. No.
I didn't know there were still
Did they
freak shows
cheer
that
for?
aren't
Did they
out.
cheer for you?
Random.
Did you get a lot of applause?
I got so
Did tricks?
much. I did.
You are a fucking
I was
abnormality.
in a cage and I stood on my hands.
And he sucked his own dick.
I would wear shoes.
The amazing man sucks his own penis.
He does it
Stephen
standing.
Badagliaco.
He does it standing. Look at him go.
It's so large it fits right into his throat. See as he gobbles buckets and buckets of jism.
Listen. $20 is $20. I don't know how you make your living, but
Bottom's Museum of Wonders, the amazing dick-sucking man.
very, very difficult to find a job when shit's just hanging out of your pants.
I like that his name is Bottoms.
Barnum's.
Oh, I thought you said Bottoms.
P.T. Barnum. He invented the freak show.
I know who Barnum is. I thought you said Bottoms. I was like, no, because he sucks his own dick.
No, I went to a random carnival in like Brooklyn, and it was like a freak show, and I walked in, and it was like the Anaconda Woman, and I had to be like 10. I walk in, and it's just a lady laying down with an anaconda like skin over her like a blanket,
Right.
and she's just sitting there like reading.
I think
I was like, I'm never going into one of these ever again. This is so dumb.
it's always going to be fun for people, not so much like human abnormalities and, you know, the what is it and things like that. You know about the what is it?
What? No, I don't know what that is.
This is one of P.T. Barnum's like things. It was just like a slave from the South that he brought up that looked a little weird, and people were like, it's the missing link. You know,
wow.
God,
it's like just horrible shit like that.
Well, yeah, there's
But,
that story of this black guy who was kept in the Bronx Zoo.
That's probably the what is it.
It's something like that. Then there was like these black babies that people watched like get raised in a zoo. Like there's a whole bunch of shit like that where black people are just put into fucking zoos.
Yeah, I mean, horrible shit is
Yeah.
happening. I think like if it's almost like magic, you know, like magic tricks.
I love magic, by the way.
Okay, you.
I've kept this secret for a long time, but I'm gonna be out with it. I'm coming clean. So no, I've just always been fascinated by like magic tricks and like I know it's fake.
Do you have a favorite magician?
A favorite?
Yeah.
You like Penn? You like Penn?
Teller?
Jillette?
I like Penn Jillette. I honestly don't think I have a particular favorite. I just, you know, if
Who's the mind freak?
Chris
Chris
Angel,
Angel.
Chris Angel.
he sucks. I don't like him.
Do you remember when we were kids, there was the masked magician who gave up all the magician's secrets? Did that like break all your dreams?
No, I loved it.
You liked it?
I know it's not real.
Right.
Like I love the like I'm fascinated by the like sleight of hand and
That's
like
what I was gonna say. Like,
perspective and shit like that.
people are always gonna love like figuring out how the
Something's
the
done.
tomfoolery is being done, and
Like-
that's what's cool about the like the P.T. Barnum style freak show thing. It's
Like you-
how are you trying to trick us right now?
Like one of our friends did a magic trick to you
Yes.
once. And to this day,
It was amazing.
you don't know how he did it.
Nope, shocked me.
You want to explain it?
I don't remember it. I just know he shocked me.
So
He
basically,
made a card appear in my hand when I wasn't holding anything.
yeah, basically, he had Anthony pick a card, and you know, let's say it was a 6 of clubs,
Right.
And Anthony shows it, and he puts it back in, and the guy shuffles the deck, and he pulls out, "Is this your card?" And Anthony's like, "No." He's like, "Is this your card?" And
He's
Anthony goes,
having
"No."
me hold my hands together.
Yeah. And he's just like fucking with Anthony, and it looks like he doesn't know the card. And Anthony's like, "Look at this asshole, he doesn't know."
Right. I was like, this guy sucks.
And then he like snaps his fingers, and he's like, "Open your hands,"
And that was the card.
and the card appeared,
how did he do that?
and you lost your fucking mind.
He made it teleport. He made a teleportation. He had a transporter. He is in fact Miles O'Brien. But
We always got to get to Trek somehow. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just-
So, like, I'm fascinated by that shit. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like, you,
it's cool.
yeah,
It's
it's
cool.
cool. It's cool.
But yeah, the freak shows were kind of dying out in Europe. I think they had a longer lifespan in America.
oh yeah, we like the freaks more.
I think so. I mean, we still have the one in Coney Island, which is like world famous.
True.
But yeah, so Frederick Trevis goes and meets the Elephant Man and decides he wants to take him to show off in front of his medical friends. And he brings him to like an examination type thing.
Well, real quick, I love the atmosphere and the setting. I love Victorian England.
Oh, it's always cool.
I think it's so,
Yeah.
especially in the black and white, it looks so good. But like anytime something is set there, like you think of steampunk, even that aesthetic, and it's still borrowing from Victorian England. It's so
Specifically,
dynamic.
like the 1890s.
Yes.
You know, like when things are kind of turning almost the 20th century.
Like Sherlock Holmes era shit
Yeah.
is perfect.
Right.
Like there's almost no cooler setting for me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like I love that
And we
shit.
tend to go there a lot on this show.
all the time.
We do, but this is the first time we're really in
London,
England, yeah. We have to consider the fate of this creature's mother. That's what the guy says when they're talking about, the Elephant Man and how he came to be.
Right. They have this story made up about how she was crushed by elephants while giving birth.
Yes. And we should mention that the movie opens with her like screaming and shots of
elephant,
elephants,
yeah.
pachyderms walking around.
That's the most Lynch moment of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one that I'll talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 really, really over the top Lynch moments. That the elephant one was one of them. That was a little bit confusing.
I thought it was like that was the story. I didn't realize it was the made up story. For the show, for the his performance aspect.
Which is why it's a little confusing.
Right.
Well, she had this kid, and it was like raised normally until you said 5 years old.
Yeah.
But after that, the story is like really depressing. The real story that they don't mention.
Well, the real story is that he was in this place.
He
and
was
it
hated
across
by
the
his
sh-
parents.
His mother was dead, and his stepmother kind of like made him go out and work, and he couldn't work. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah, his
So he
father
left-
and stepmother
I read
hated
he
him.
left home at 17 and was kind of just on his own.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that. These medical students in the hospital would come over and see the Elephant Man as a medical oddity. And then he was brought before that like big review, and they gave a major examination to him. And that was that. Like he went back to the show after that. It wasn't until and by the way, the whole thing with him walking around with the burlap sack on and the big hat.
Yeah.
That's all real. Like
Yeah.
I saw the actual hat and the thing.
Okay.
He had a giant hat and a burlap sack on his head.
I mean,
You don't want to scare people.
Yeah. He was being hounded by like a crowd in the street one day. Like he was just going through town, and the police had to actually rescue him. And he was given a calling card by Frederick Trevis, who had examined him.
yeah.
And the cops couldn't understand what he was saying because his mouth is so
Yeah, he
messed up.
can't really
He can't really
speak.
talk well. So he gave him the calling card, and they called the doctor. He got him a cab, brought him back to the hospital, admitted him with bronchitis, and that's where he stayed for the rest of his life. They got him a permanent residence in that, which is pretty much what happens in the movie.
Yeah, it's very close. I mean,
Yeah.
in the movie, at one point, he's like being surrounded by all the people. He says the infamous line
Well, that's later.
yeah, but
Well, no,
he ends up.
in the movie. He gets hounded by the workers and like random people, and he leaves to go back to the freak show. Yeah,
He goes captured and taken to France.
Yeah.
But that's later.
but that didn't happen.
No, that's
That's what I was referring to.
So anyway, one thing, they gave out pamphlets of him. They gave out pamphlets at the exhibit, and they said that his condition is due to his mother Mary being knocked over while she was pregnant with him. She was knocked over by elephants,
Which is all fiction.
and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I
I actually heard that those pamphlets made more money than the actual exhibit himself. People just wanted to know about him.
wow.
But he gets taken back to the hospital, and there's this whole thing where he's in the attic, and the nurses keep running into him, and they scream in horror every time they see him. But we see like this friendship start to blossom between Anthony Hopkins and him, and
Yeah.
he teaches him he interviews him and like kind of figures out how he talks, and they start to communicate.
And he
more.
figures out that he has the capacity to think.
Yeah,
he can
he's a normal
reason.
person. He can reason.
You wouldn't hurt me, would you, Elephant Man?
Pride ties.
One of the reviews that I saw for this movie was that Anthony Hopkins' eyes in this are magnificent.
Again, you're really focused on the hunky guys. Huh?
He is a hunk.
dreamboat.
He's a dreamboat.
Does he make your top?
No.
Okay.
There's only top 3. But no, and when you look at the cinematography of it, they really focus on like making his eyes like wide and bright.
Well, you could tell, like, he's such a great actor. You could tell he has such a wide range of emotions when he's looking at him. You could tell, like, that he's, like, always, like, there's a slight element of pity, but also wonder and curiosity and care. And, like, it's really never said, but, like, he really is projecting all these different emotions at various points.
That's another thing that we were harping about when we were watching it. Like, there's very little dialogue in this movie. But so much happens with just the facial expressions and movements and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
It's
fantastic.
really a beautiful visual movie.
It's great. It's directed awesome and it's shot awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he goes with Anthony Hopkins to the British lecture where he gets naked, stands in front of the crowd, which is something that happened in real life.
Yep.
And
they would let it. He let them do it. It's
he was
like
going
in the movie and in real life.
Yeah.
Eventually, he decided that he didn't like it.
in real life. He's like, I'm done with this, and he goes away. He wasn't getting paid. That's the real reason.
One of I think one of the more sad aspects of the whole thing is that they come to find out that he's never met a woman before. He's never communicated.
Well,
with her.
that's part of it, right?
All of them have been horrified for him by him. So Anthony Hopkins in real life, the doctor Trevi, introduces him to a friend of his, and it's just a regular woman, and they have a nice conversation. And he loves it.
It changes his life.
He changed his life, and the two of them end up being pen pals till the day he died.
But he gets like
In the
really
movie-
horny in real life,
Of course,
and he just wanted to like fuck after he finally got to meet a woman.
he's also like 21 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
In the movie, it's an actress,
Yes.
and that is fake. Like all the whole stuff with the high society getting involved with him and like becoming his friends, essentially, that was all invented.
No, to an
No.
extent, it happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
not the princess didn't come.
yes,
No, she did.
she did.
Yeah.
Really?
He was actually like worshipped among high society. Yeah.
Yeah, they did come and visit him. That did happen. He was mailed a letter by that actress, and like he cherished it.
Oh,
But the show,
I didn't find any of this.
but the show he saw, she was not in.
Mm-hmm.
But he did when he finally saw play.
Which is the climax of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the actress's name is Madge Kendall.
I think that was her name in the movie too, wasn't it?
I believe it is.
Mrs. Kendall?
Yes. And that's really, I mean, she was a famous actress in her day, but I think what she's really known for now is having a communique with the Elephant Man.
There's a scene that happens around this time because he's in the hospital, right? Well, actually, he gets examined, and it turns out they want to bring him into the hospital to treat him, or at least to see what's going on more. And it's the first time the nurse is dealing with him, and she has the bowl of oatmeal, which these shots in this sequence are fantastic. And she's walking to the door, and she's clearly horrified, clearly scared. And it's almost indescribable how scared she actually looks. Like it's on another level. When she gets into the room, sees him for the first time, and is like, that horror is just unleashed. It for such a small role, like, and it goes back to like so much is happening with no dialogue. It is really powerful. Like I was pretty amazed that like at this point in this film,
And then Anthony
how much is
Hopkins
happening.
Comes up behind us. I should have warned.
I should have warned you. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. And I'm just like, this is on another. Like, I thought going into this, like, I was making a mistake picking something random, and I was like, wow, this is actually a really good movie. Like, I was shocked.
You know what scene's heartbreaking? When he goes, I can't be cured, can I? Because part of you in the back of your head, because you've seen a million movies, you're like, oh, Anthony Hopkins is going to like try to do surgery or something and fix him, right?
Yeah.
That was in the back of my mind. They're going to try to like cut some of this shit out.
And kill him in doing so.
Yeah, I thought something like that. And they're like, no, we can't do anything for you. You're stuck like this.
He did in real life have surgeries, though, to remove some of the mass.
Yeah, and like to make his mouth able to talk better.
Yeah.
And the actress, Madge Kendall, was an advocate for him publicly, and she helped raise funds for him and public sympathy. Right. So she was a big booster in real life.
A large portion of the film is about kind of the logistics behind getting him permanent residence in the hospital and being under their care. Because, we're in Victorian England. It's not like there's social safety nets. You know, it's a very do or die type of society, and the hospital has to pay for him. So who's going to do that? And that's kind of like they have the interview with the guy who runs the hospital, and he's clearly been coached by Anthony Hopkins.
He's only saying what he's supposed to say,
right,
and he's in his suit.
Well, they thought he was an imbecile at birth.
right.
And in real life, they thought that too. And it turns out they were wrong.
Well, no one was giving him the time to express
Be a
himself. Yes.
It's not until he starts praying like on his own, doing things that they didn't teach him to do.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know
He
that?
shows them that he is in fact a human being.
Yeah, and that's the prayer is actually what gets his, almost salvation.
Yeah.
Because as he's praying, Anthony Hopkins hears it, and
they run back upstairs.
And they run back upstairs, and he goes, "Finish it!"
Finish it.
And then finally they have
The Green Goblin bursts through.
Right, the Green Goblin. They have this other scene where they're debating what to do with him. Like,
Well, there was that other scene where the Elephant Man's talking about what makes a hero, and he says, "A hero is someone that can show others what can happen if they hold on for one more day." That was Aunt May in Spider-Man 2. So we made him Aunt May, and I just,
I really hope
tagged on
that
it.
somebody out there, some listener out there, picked up on that was Spider-Man 2.
You knew it was Spider-Man 2.
I didn't. If you guys were in the room with us, you would have seen one of the finest performances I've ever seen. Brian's mouth looked just like the Elephant Man's.
I turned it sideways. I look more like him than Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Because Bradley Cooper is handsome.
They have this scene where like the higher ups in the hospital discussing like what to do with him, and there's one guy who's adamant about getting him out. They don't want him in there. And then a letter comes from the Queen herself saying she wants him.
Well, the princess brings it.
Yes, the princess shows up, the Princess of Wales, and she hand delivers a message from the Queen thanking the hospital because he's become kind of a celebrity by now.
She had wonderful timing.
Yeah,
They
right?
were debating about it then and there.
He's been in the newspapers and people know about him now. And the Queen wants him there. So there he is. He gets a spot permanently and they move him downstairs. And that's important because now he can be fucked with by the orderly guy.
The evil orderly.
But this is his home now, and he's shocked that he has a real home.
He's very grateful. And he starts
Yes.
building a replica of the cathedral he can see outside his window.
So in real life, Merrick did receive, visits from wealthy ladies and gentlemen, including the Princess of Wales. That is 100% true.
Okay.
That's so crazy.
I didn't know that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, they wanted to see the Odyssey and also
Oddity.
the Oddity. Yeah, what I say, the
He
Odyssey.
said the Odyssey. They wanted to see Odysseus fight the Cyclops.
Yeah, they were all about Symphony X. They're like, play it.
Accolade 2.
You gotta just play the whole fucking album, bro.
Inferno.
No, so they wanted to see the Oddity, and they also, I think, it helps them feel morally good that they were helping this person.
Yes. And the movie plays with the idea that is this just the freak show continuing? Is it?
Only for a higher class.
Well, that's the thing, and Anthony Hopkins feels guilty about it, and I kind of...
It's the difference between Barnum and Bailey and the TLC network today.
Yup.
You were going to say the same thing?
No, I wasn't going to say that exactly, but you're totally right.
It's like you put the guise of helping someone. It's still the freak show.
Exactly.
But now you're being constructive with it.
Look, we're giving
It's
this...
the learning channel,
And I will tell
Little
you,
people, big world.
there is
My
nothing...
600-pound life.
There is almost nothing I hate more than fraudulent charity, and I hate when people take lessers almost and they almost exploit them and manipulate them for their own gain.
Just like you do to me on this show.
Yeah. No,
I mean, like Honey Boo Boo wasn't just point and laugh at the weird people?
I fucking hate that. There's nothing I hate more than people being exploited like that. It really bothers me on a moral level. Did I ever tell you the story when I threatened kids in high school that were picking on a dude?
No.
I never told you the story.
I might have
You
been
probably
there,
have,
but
and we just forgot.
Yeah.
So I was in high school. I was probably a senior because I don't know if I would have done it as a junior. No, I would have had to have been a junior. I'm sorry. So because I was in lunch, and as a senior, you don't go to lunch. You just go home. So I was in the cafeteria, and there was a special ed kid, and he's sitting at a table, and these kids are sitting at the table, and they're just throwing shit at this dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it fucking enraged me.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And I went over, and I was like, you're going to think this line is so fucking cheesy. I thought it was tough, though. I was like,
this ain't your show. Did you do a Clint Eastwood thing?
no. I said,
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
I said, you keep throwing things at him. How about you throw some fucking fists with me? We'll go outside.
That's not bad.
That's a good line.
That's not
Yeah?
bad.
That's a good line.
All right.
That's not as douchey as I thought it was.
And I was
expecting
like heated
cheese.
about it. And they
It's not like when I was fighting a kid when I was like 10, and I told him I like picked him up and threw, and he's like, "Whoa, you're pretty strong." And I said, I was from Star Wars. I stole.
You'll
one from
find
Luke.
him.
No.
You'll find him full of surprises, and I tried to lift him over my head, and I just failed.
You thought that you were fucking gonna have the force.
Yeah.
Oh, you told that story to me once about the kid who says a Jedi does not strike in anger?
Oh yeah.
You want to tell that real quick?
That was like this weird. He had to have some kind of mental problem, and he was getting picked on in like the locker room in gym class, and like somebody said to him, he's like, "Why don't you just fight back?" And he just goes, "A Jedi does not strike in anger."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wasn't he getting picked on more, and he just kept saying that to himself?
Yeah,
That's-
he was like grumbling it in his under his breath.
as he was getting picked on,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. You're not me.
Simple observer, really. That's
Yeah.
all.
As a witness to history. A passive witness. That's like
Yeah.
another kid I saw. They took his jacket, same locker room, and they threw it in the toilet and pissed all over his jacket. And he just took it. You know, what is he gonna do? These guys were real pieces of shit.
And they pissed on his
They
jacket.
pissed on his jacket, and then the next day they pissed in a cup and threw it at him. They had a lot of piss play. This kid was not having a good week.
Yeah. I feel, that's horrible.
It was horrible. It was a horrible thing to see.
Yeah. I heard a kid in middle school, in a friend's middle school, got hot cum thrown in his face.
Was this the Silence of the Lambs middle school? Wait, where did they find hot cum? They're middle schoolers. My God. This is the worst thing I've ever heard.
They're walking through the hall.
Yeah, multiple MIGs comes flying at him.
One of my buddies in high school, he broke open a locker.
Silence of the Lambs. The teacher, I could smell you.
What did you see, Clarence? What did you see?
That's history class, by the way.
The principal is just on the loudspeaker. He said I could smell your cunt. Clarice, he said I could smell your cunt. Have a nice day.
Every lunch, the same thing. It's just fava bean.
And a Chianti. The music, the only song played is just Goodbye Horses.
What a middle school.
You know what the most
Jane Gunn is the principal.
you know what the most
She's a great big fat person.
you know what the most popular class is, right?
What?
Basket weaving. Because you got to make the basket. No, so one of my friends, he broke open someone's locker, a random person. He only broke the locker because he could. And he took a shit inside the locker on someone's gym clothes and then locked it up.
That's good, clean fun.
And he just left the shit there.
What a surprise when you open up your locker.
According to Ant, piss play is mean, but if it's shit, it's all in good fun.
Well, I think
Look,
that it's a
you're not-
random target.
Yeah, if you're, yeah, exactly. Like you open up your locker, there's a pile of shit. That's funny. That's funny.
Fucking funny. It's your stuff.
I think in the hindsight, you're gonna tell that story the rest of your life and be like, "This was a hysterical moment." If someone takes your jacket and pisses all over it, that's horrible. That's a nightmare situation. You know?
Yeah, because you have to leave the jacket behind.
Yeah, and it's like just the humiliation.
Yeah.
you're gonna carry that. But the shit in your locker is fucking great.
Were you the one who did this?
No, it was not me.
You know which sociopath
Oh
did
yeah.
it.
I know.
Anyway, the Elephant Man.
Anyway.
You know what's funny? We brought up Silence of the Lambs and
Anthony
didn't
Hopkins.
reference, but we didn't even do that.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
I know, but it was funny that we didn't talk about that. We didn't make any Hannibal Lecter jokes. It just happened. Silence of the Lambs High School is hysterical.
Oh, middle school. It's not even high school.
Oh, it's a middle
High school gets worse.
That's Red Dragon High. You graduate. Every class is just a slideshow. Do you see?
Locker room changing.
Every time a disabled person walked in, you felt really bad because they set them on fire and put them down on a wheelchair.
Speaking of piss, Ed Norton, doesn't this kid piss himself in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You wet yourself. You're filthy.
Yeah. Those are good movies. Not the fucking
They are good.
what was the
Hannibal?
second one? Hannibal. That one.
Hannibal stinks. Red Dragon is fun though.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's family fun,
It is a fun movie.
Don't they hang a guy by his intestines?
Maybe. I don't know.
These things happen.
I remember me and my family went and watched Hannibal together and we were so fucking bored.
Doesn't Ray Liotta get his head eaten?
Yeah, I think Hannibal eats his brains at the end.
What, didn't they spoof that in Scary Movie?
Yeah, they did. So, Elephant Man cries and it breaks your heart after he has tea time. Mm-hmm. And you feel so bad because it's the first time he's being treated like a human at all.
Yes.
Well, he says, "I've never been treated kind by such a beautiful woman ever."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh my God, do you feel for this man?
You poor man.
You really feel for him in a deep down way, you want to be his friend.
Right.
You he's just a nice person.
We haven't really mentioned this, but throughout the whole movie, his employer, who I guess they treat him almost like he owns them.
Yeah.
And that's how he sees it.
Yeah.
It's Bites.
Yeah, Mr. Bites. Is,
He has a little
lurking
kid. He has a little
around.
kid with him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He's lurking around and he's trying to get him back.
It's his livelihood.
Right. And he teams up with the evil orderly. And every night the evil orderly goes to a pub and brings the patrons of the pub back to the window so they can look in and see him being a
Well, did they team up? Because I thought this guy did it on his own. The orderly.
He pays the orderly guy to take him in there.
He just wants to. He acts like he's just one of the patrons.
Yes.
And he ends up kidnapping.
He kidnaps him.
The Elephant Man.
The Elephant Man.
That scene
takes him to France.
Well, real quick, that scene before he gets
Horrible.
kidnapped is heartbreaking.
Yes.
That's the scene where I actually really got choked up and felt bad. He's just so abused
Right.
and he doesn't want any of this. And you've come to know him as this gentle person.
Right.
And he's just completely helpless. And these horrible people are just picking on him. You have the girls mocking him. Yeah. There's the scene where they're outside the window, which is so Lynch. Because Lynch always has horrible sexuality in his films.
Yes.
And it's the hookers and the guy and they're just licking each other's
furious
faces
makeout.
Bullet.
as they're looking at him.
The furious makeout is so uncomfortable.
Yes.
But this doesn't portray look at these evil people or look at these lower class. They're these are the average people. These are the just average bar goers who were hanging around. It's just humanity. And that's who they're portraying. Sure, yeah, I guess if you want to say that, it's at least one of its lowest. Mm-hmm. So
he kidnaps him, and takes him to France, where we meet one of the time bandits and the guy who he's inside R2D2.
Well, the Bites locks him in a cage. He's sick of his shit.
Baboons.
These baboons are yelling and screeching, and all the other carnies see this and are like, "We got to get this guy out of here. He doesn't belong here." And that's what they do.
They rescue him and send him back to England. And when he arrives, that's when we get the big scene. He's going through the train station, and he's causing all kinds of commotion just by his appearance, and the people are chasing him. And he ends up in a bathroom up against a wall, and
he says, I am not a human being. I am not an animal.
Yeah.
It's
That's
heartbreaking.
a good scene.
Yeah, you feel so bad for the guy. He's just been crushed by people.
Right.
And they bring him back in.
And his friends save him. Mr. Treve has
apologizes. He says, if I would have known, I would have helped. And like, not everybody's evil, you know?
Oh, we're missing something. When he confronts the boiler room man, the nurse hits the guy with like a sack of flour or something.
Fucks him up.
It's so like cheesy and like,
but it's good.
Yeah.
It really doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. It's like a little Lynch cheese
You're
flourish.
fired.
You know?
Right. The rest of the movie is like, this is where we realize the fulfillment of his life. You know, he gets to go to a play, which he wanted to do. We
got to talk about that play.
It's really cool.
The play looks
after
awesome.
I just recently bashed all plays, this one was good.
It's very Lynchy. The scenes of the play are Lynchy. The setting is really interesting. It looks almost like an old version of The Lion King.
It reminded me of some of the sets from like Amadeus. You know? Like those big operas.
Which is what they are.
Yeah.
But I want to refer more to the audience treating him scene in the play, more so than the play itself. Because this is like, almost in a weird way, the worshipping of high society.
Worshipping?
Yes. At least how I saw it. Because the actress comes out and says, like, this is our special guest who's never been to a play before. And Hopkins like...
And he's sitting with the princess.
Sitting with the princess. Like, you got to stand up. And he stands up and everybody claps for him.
Yes.
So all of... And plays and operas are known, if you're high society, you do this. That's what you do.
Right.
So they all stand up and they clap. And clearly high society doesn't treat him the way the average person would.
Do.
Not even the low class, the average person. They're not even lower class. Those are average people. So in a way, it's like, see how great high society can actually be.
I don't think it
in a weird way.
I don't think it was a statement about class per se. I think it was just like to be understanding. I will say this though. He is not the hero of his own movie. You know, well, I just want to say, like, this whole final act is about him feeling loved and fulfilling, like, a meaningful life. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
He does nothing, he can do nothing without the help of other people. And it's
well,
only
he's a
by
helpless person.
Right. It's only by the grace of good people that he is able to live a fulfilling life. You know, it's not like he overcame anything.
No.
He still has the same problem he's always had. It's just through charity and goodness and kindness, he's able to be fulfilled. You know, it's not a triumphant. You know, maybe Beaver's right. I'm
You're thinking about
talking myself out of my own interpretation.
No,
of the movie.
you're right, because the movie is really ultimately about. And this is, I guess, the best thing about Lynch is that so many people could have different readings of his work. Mm-hmm. But to me, I found it that the beauty of life and really the meaning of life is like finding yourself in art and your pursuits. And like you can have a meaningful, fulfilled life by being a good person and being filled with art and love and passion for those things. And if you really immerse yourself in those, it can be a fulfilling life. And that's why he's, you know, at the end, he's at peace. Mm-hmm. He's had a fulfilled life. He's found fulfillment in art and beauty, things like that.
And the way he decides to go out on his own terms is that he wants to do the one thing he has been unable to do his entire life, which is just lay down and sleep.
And that is from Tevis's book, where Tevis says that I think that after being in the theater and all these like experiences, he wanted to try to sleep like a regular person to see what it was like, and it ended up killing him.
Right. His head was just
so
too
about that. In the movie,
it dislocated his neck.
So the autopsy done, he actually broke his neck sleeping like that. Right. So he did die like that. Mm-hmm. He tried to lay down like a regular person.
That's how they found him.
I guess you could argue that he knew what was going to happen. Like,
he knew.
I might die doing this, or he was so full of joy and being surrounded by real life that maybe he was like, maybe I can get away with this and, you know, be a person.
And obviously we'll never know his inner thoughts, but it could also be maybe he's in such misery that it's just like enough.
He saw what the real world is and is like, I'm not going to be part of that ever.
Right.
So it's so much for interpretation.
Could go either way on that one.
Yeah. A lot of
But
interpretation.
the movie, I
but-
think, definitely makes us feel he is at peace.
But that scene still is.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
He
to
says, "I am
watch.
fulfilled because I am loved."
Yes.
I did not find it heartbreaking.
I didn't either.
I
That
found
was
it.
so
But it is,
heartbreaking.
yeah, obviously it's somber. A man's ending his life.
Yeah. I found it triumphant. He had lived the perfect, fulfilled life.
It is good
The
that he went
perfect
out-
day of his existence.
Yeah.
It's never going to get any better for him. You know? And in real
I mean,
life, his
it's
health was
so-
deteriorating.
Yes. And it is good that he went out on his terms.
They mentioned that actually. They say
That is
"Do
his
you-
triumph."
Do you know John is dying? And that's mentioned in the film by the
He
nurse.
didn't let his disease take him. He decided now was the time. That is his victory. You know?
Sure, yeah, I could agree with that. It's just, it's still heartbreaking to see because, not like I understand the triumphantness and how it's almost a victory in his own way, but the circumstance in which why he had to do that and of his life is just heartbreaking to see. That's how he had to go. Like he could have not done that and actually lived a couple more years, and he probably would have died anyway. But
it only was going to get worse.
it was going to get worse. But
He was already fulfilled.
Right.
but just the circumstance that it had to end that way is heartbreaking.
Right.
That is a heartbreaking story, and film, and everything about it is.
I found it very inspiring and uplifting, honestly. Like, you
I'm
know,
with Brian.
he found fulfillment and love in life despite all his deformities and all the horrible, cruel shit that had been done to him and him being treated like an animal. He still found that life was beautiful and he found love and acceptance, you know, and like he managed to see the good in people.
I can agree that part is inspiring. It is.
And I really thought it was a great message. I liked it a lot.
But I think I was more so overcome with sadness of the whole thing than inspiration. That's me. That's just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no right reading. So in real life, the play he saw was a Christmas pantomime at Theatre Royal, and Madge Kendall helped attend. Like they, helped him attend. Like they set it up, and he would ride on trains sometimes in like private cars. Tevez would take him around. They really did become friends in real life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he would visit him every day.
Did we touch on the fact that Hopkins himself is conflicted about, am I like exploiting this man?
Briefly. Yeah.
We talked about that, but we didn't talk about that he was conflicted.
He's conflicted himself. And I think that's such a good scene in the movie because in the back of your head, you're wondering it too. And they're clearly
Am
setting
I a
it
good
up.
person?
Yes. Am I a good person? And I ultimately do think he was a good person
Yeah.
Of course.
because,
Whatever intentions he had at the start, he did right by the guy.
exactly.
You know? And at the start, he probably wanted, to expose him for medical science and to look good and, profit somewhat.
That's
from
a part of doctors at that time, who
Right.
could find the biggest freak and boost your profile.
Right. And he did do that. But
Yeah.
that don't make him a bad person.
I mean,
No.
people need to know about that.
Right.
Right? You
He
need to
shined
know.
without that, what did his real life, where would it have gone? Like, he would have just been either in the freak show or homeless.
Right.
Without
on the
that,
street.
yeah, everything that was done by that doctor helped him in some way. I mean, he's hanging out with like the princess.
And you hope that
Watching
sort of
plays.
examination and review by the medical people, leads to some sort of breakthrough that could help people eventually.
Exactly. And eventually, we know this exists now. And if we see it enough, we could stop it. Now, this remains a rare condition. I don't think there is like a cure for it, right?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
I imagine plastic surgery has to be somewhat better. And if it's caught early, they could probably do some stuff.
I mean, it's tumors, right?
Yeah.
So,
But the way they grow could be constricting arteries and
Sure.
shit like that. So,
they could be cancerous. No?
yeah.
And the movie ends with like these ethereal shots of like the sky and stuff. And we hear a poem.
It's a beautiful ending.
I'm not reciting this
A
one.
poem by Tennyson.
Oh, do we really?
It's Tennyson.
fuck.
Oh
Fucking
my
way.
God.
So
I think it's Beaver's turn.
All right.
yeah. So
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Beaver-
Is this long?
it's shorter than the other
I
one.
can't believe it.
Yeah.
How do you want me to perform this?
Like David Lynch.
Ooh, like David Lynch.
So you have
So do I have to do his voice?
no, just say random words.
Oh, that's tough. Okay, but it is by Nothing Will Die. So is this actually about him?
It's not about him, but they use it at the end of the movie.
Okay. So, all right. I got to get into the Lynch's. Do you want me to
talks
talk
like-
like this?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You want me to talk like, do you want, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this in an emotional way.
Okay.
Do you think that's good?
I like it.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. When will the stream be aweary of flowing under my eye? When will the wind be aweary of blowing over the sky? When will the clouds be aweary of fleeting? When will the heart be aweary of beating and nature die? Never, oh, never, nothing will die. The stream flows, the wind blows, the clouds fleet, and the heart beats. Nothing will die. Nothing will die. All things will change. Throw eternity to the world. Winter, autumn, and summer are gone long ago. Earth is dry into the center. But spring, a newcomer, a spring rich and strange, shall make the winds blow round and round, throw and throw here and there, till the air and the ground shall be filled with life anew. The world was never made. It will change, but will not fade. So let the wind range, for even in morn, ever will be. Throw eternity. Nothing was born. Nothing will die. All things will change. Watch Twin Peaks.
Good job.
That was tough. I think
Good
it.
job.
I think it was not that easy.
I can't believe we had back-to-back Tennyson.
That's that was good. That was shocking.
When I said it, you looked shocked at it.
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna have to do it again. I'm glad Steve did it.
That's a lovely poem. That is a really nice poem, though.
Tennyson's a good poet.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really breaking new ground with that statement.
Yeah, I know. All right, before today, no one at this table. I actually had read Charge of the Light Brigade when we were researching
Sure.
this. Did you?
Yeah, I actually watched a video of someone reciting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I really never paid that much attention to it. I definitely never
me
heard
neither.
the other poem before. I'm not into poetry.
You should get
Really?
into it. You should get into it.
Well, I think we're just going to start going to poetry slams and only reading
I
Tennyson.
think we should end every episode with a poem from now on.
Brian's doing the next one. Like,
Only Tennyson. Tennyson is the official.
Anytime he pops up.
okay.
He's the official poet of reviewing history. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Okay, this was
Great movie.
This was great. This was a random pick by me. While watching it, I regretted it, thinking it's not going to be that funny. But it is what it is. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. This was legit. I was blown away. Blown away.
Yeah, it's a 9er.
9 out of 10.
I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Uplifting movie. Can't complain. Heartfelt. Looks great. Well acted. I understand why it resonates with so many people, and I could see why a lot of artists and musicians, guys like Steven Wilson, really enjoy it. It connects to guys like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think that does it for this episode, boys, unless anyone's got any final things to say.
That's it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I feel
good.
pretty good. All right. So you want to say bye?
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Want to give a big shout out to Walt, Bry, Q, Get 'em, the Tell 'em Steve Dave guys for letting us record down in TESD Town Studios. Come on down to Hazlitt, New Jersey. Visit TESD Town Studios. Visit Get 'em. Buy some merch. Say hi to everybody. Tell them Reviewing History sent you.
Tell them we sent you.
Yeah. You could smell you getting off the elevator. Follow the podcast
I
on...
was swinging at the Blue Monkey last night.
Come on down and just start reciting Tennyson. They won't know what you're doing, but, maybe you'll strike something and get them. Come on down. I said that already. Sorry. I'm like a robot. Once I get off track,
We derailed them.
Yeah, the programming is all fucked up. Follow the podcast on all social media. On Twitter, it's RViewPod or RViewingPod. Reviewing History everywhere else. You could send us an email, reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. You can follow me on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch. I write reviews for them. I have lists ranking all these movies. The guys have their own Letterboxd as well. You'll find all this in the show notes. I want to thank you so much for listening to us, and we will see you next time. Bye.